Don Wallman. He said, "We praying for you." Now let me tell you, it's not easy for Don Wallman to come out as an individual founder of the American Family Association and say, "I'm going to support Phil Bryant. I'm going to stand up. We're going to send out letters. We're going to make sure everybody knows Phil is a faith and family candidate." Now, I'm not trying to take a moral superiority position here. None of us are as good or as perfect as we'd like to be. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful experience for my faith. To go through this type of challenge will drive you to your knees and get you to look up. I argued with the Lord for about a year saying, "Are you sure this is what you want me to do?" And he said, "Don't make me have a whale swallow you." So when Don Wallman called me and said, "I'm behind you," I said, "Amen, brother," because he knows one of the first things we're going to do is have a marriage summit from the time I'm elected in November, and I just believe I'm going to be elected in November. What do you think? I used to say the best thing a dad can do for his children is stay married to their mama. Now I know that doesn't happen all the time. Life is tough. Now I say the best thing a daddy can do for his children is to marry their mama. Now I know I done started preaching here. But we've got to build an environment where my children and your children and grandchildren understand that this society is built on the foundation of a marriage between a man and a woman, and government can do all they can to support that. Now they told me some light comes on, and lights come on, and I'm running out of time. I'm just getting warmed up. I want to introduce somebody to you real quickly. Dr. James Crockett just finished a book called Hands in the Till. It's dedicated to the great men and women of the state auditor's office who have worked tirelessly fighting public corruption in this state. Let me tell you what they've done. They've arrested over 200, not what I've done, what they've done. They've arrested over 200 corrupt public employees and government officials and recovered over $12 million of your taxpayers' money. And go somewhere and buy Hands in the Till by Dr. James Crockett right here. Give him a hand. I have never been as proud of men and women as I have those that served in that position in the last 10 years. I got out of their way. I told them, don't put up with public corruption. There is no politics. No one's beyond our reach. Let's just do our job, and I'm very proud of the job that they have done. Now, you saw a couple of candidates up here. I don't have anything bad to say about anybody. I have no ill will or hatred in my heart for no man. But I am about winning this race in November. You see, I lived there when we had a Democratic lieutenant governor in Kirk Fordyce's second term. And nothing seemed to work out right. The governor couldn't get a workers' comp commissioner appointed. We cannot let that happen again. I intend to run hard to run through August 7th and own the victory in November. The last thing we must remember in our prayers and in our hearts, sometimes even in our billfolds, are those courageous Mississippians, your fellow Mississippians that are struggling still on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. What heroes we have there. They were knocked down by the largest natural disaster in this nation's history, and they stood up against the storm and returned stronger than ever. Now, a lot of people take credit from Nissan, and there's a lot of credit to go around. But I believe somebody in Tokyo looked down and said, you know those fine people in Mississippi, if they can take that hit and get up, that's where we want to put our plant. Now we should be ever mindful of it. We've got to rebuild that Mississippi Gulf Coast, be the jewel of Gulf of Mexico, and I believe working together we can do it. But it did one other thing. You know, believe it or not, people around this nation used to look at Mississippi and look down upon us. You know, I heard folks in Arkansas would say, thank God for Mississippi. Well, you know, I've said that a lot in my lifetime too. Now the nation looks at a different Mississippi, a Mississippi that withstood that disaster, a Mississippi that now has two automobile manufacturing plants, a Mississippi that's ranked number 32 in Governing Magazine for Economic Development Momentum, No longer does the nation look at Mississippi as Mississippi burning. We are now Mississippi rising. And with your help, on August 7th and again in November, we're going to make sure that all of us working together can help Mississippi rise. God bless you, Mississippi.